To talk more about the fight for Fallujah, I'm joined now by Jake Diliberto, political researcher at the University of Birmingham. Hello there, Jake. So many people died and wounded in Fallujah. As a veteran yourself, what's going through your mind? Do you feel like it was worth it?
Well, obviously, I think that the story of the Iraq War is very clear. The war, the initial objectives, the United States did not achieve them. There was no weapons of mass destruction. The war in general failed to stabilize Iraq because if you look at today, Iraq is twice as more violent as places like Afghanistan and something like this. And I think that overall the Maliki government and every other government in the future is going to have very difficult problems with these non-state groups such as Al-Qaeda. And that largely is because of complete distrust within the government and the people because of the greater part of 60 years of government abuse prior with Saddam Hussein. So the war wasn't worth it. And I just would like to make a point on this development of Al-Qaeda that when we went in to do the surge with General Petraeus in 2007, Al-Qaeda, we were able to suppress Al-Qaeda. We were able to manipulate Al-Qaeda to go away. However, they simply went into latency. They were never exactly defeated in the sense of putting a white flag up and surrendering. They just went back into the shadows, hiding, waiting for the United States to leave. So I think that there is a lot of myth and a lot of mystification about what exactly the surge did. The surge did bring violence down, but it didn't defeat Al-Qaeda. It just pushed Al-Qaeda into latency, which is why we see a reemergence.
So what you're saying is basically it was a matter of time before we got into the situation that we are in today.
Yes, precisely. It was only a matter of time. And there's not really much that the Obama administration could have done because the SOFA was agreed to under the Bush administration, which took U.S. troops out of Iraq, that there was nothing we could do because Iraqis didn't want us there anymore. And now this is something that they have to deal with themselves. The resurgence of Al-Qaeda in Fallujah is akin to a couple of reasons. One is because there's been abuses by this largely Shia government that has kind of isolated and alienated the Sunni populations within Anbar. And this attempt of Al-Qaeda to come back is an attempt to sort of reinvigorate some tensions within the Sunni and Shia populations. So there's a general continuing trend that we didn't resolve in 2007 either. There was another myth that somehow Petraeus went in and fixed the ongoing tensions. No, we simply kicked the can down the road for them to resurface later on.
Yeah, I know people in the military, members of the Air Force, that are very disappointed and disheartened who lost people, that we are where we are today, basically slipping back. Jake, what do we do now? I mean, is there any clear solution? What action, if any, should the U.S. take?
Well, I think for sure that there's a series of things the United States needs to do, and that's one, staying out of Syria, staying out of Iraq with our troops, staying out of the domestic political problems, because at the end of the day, these are only situations that local Syrians or Iraqis can fix and can bring solution to. The second thing is, I do think that there is a general interest within Syrians, Iraqis, and pretty much everyone in the Gulf to suppress Al-Qaeda and stop Al-Qaeda from being a dog running around the neighborhood, peeing all over the place, putting up black flags, making their territory. So assisting with intelligence, assisting with aid and development, sort of helping a tribal uprising to push Al-Qaeda out is the kind of things that the State Department can do very good, and the State Department should be empowered to do. But however, looking at military solutions here, the policing and military component really needs to be done by Iraqis, because if it's tried to be done by a foreign force, it's going to make the situation worse.
Jake, I want to bring up some related news that's causing quite the controversy right now. This new book out from former Secretary of Defense Robert Gates. He gave some scathing critique of the Obama administration in his new book. We're going to read a quote from it there. The book is entitled Duty, Memoirs of a Secretary at War, excuse me. Quote, Hillary told the president and her opposition to the 2007 surge in Iraq had been political because she was facing him in the Iowa primary. The president conceded vaguely that the opposition to the Iraq surge had been political. To hear the two of them making these admissions and in front of me was as surprising as it was dismaying. So kind of revealing there that he saw firsthand this political game, even when it comes to war here. Jake, how do you feel about this statement? How damaging is it to the administration? And really, should it come as a shock?
Well, I've never made any bones about my personal belief. I think that the Obama administration's, and foreign policy-wise, is a step up from the Bush administration, but it's still very much lackluster in its performance. There's no mystery that the Obama sort of cabinet had disputes politically about everything between the invasion of Iraq, the surge, everything else. And I generally think that Secretary Gates was a really stand-up individual who gave really, really good critique inside. And I think this book points out his general distaste of how the cabinet structured itself. I think that Secretary Clinton and President Obama definitely disputed with each other on foreign policy matters merely for politics. Because if you look at the two of them, there's no doubt that Obama and Hillary simply wanted to win elections. That is why that they voted the way they did. That is why they've conducted their foreign policy the way. It has never, ever been, in my opinion, some sort of segmented analysis about how the best way to proceed forward in the war on terror. Because you look at Obama's book, you look at Obama Wars by Bob Woodward. The Obama administration is simply conducted its foreign policy based on domestic appeal within the United States. It has never been about successfully accomplishing a task or convening with military officials and making some sort of concomitant results for our generation anyways.
We are going to have to leave it off there, but appreciate you coming on the show, Jake, as always. That was Jake Diliberto, political researcher at the University of Birmingham.
Thank you.